Are you a good swimmer?
I'm skilled enough to keep myself reasonably safe.
If you put me in the water, I probably wouldn't drown, but if you put me in a race, I'd be coming last.
How good of a swimmer, I think.
I think I'm a pretty good swimmer, you know.
I think I'm pretty average.
I'm going to read out some of Australia's national swimming benchmarks. So these are things half of Australians should be able to do by 17. Can you swim continuously for 400 metres and tread water for 5 minutes?
Maybe not 400 metres. I reckon I could get maybe up to about 100.
400 metres. I don't think I could do 400 metres now.
For 400 metres, probably not. I would probably drown.
I reckon I could get to about the 70-metre mark and I'd be sort of wading my way through the water, but yeah, as far as I can go.
Maybe 150, like when I'm putting my very best effort in.
Most Australians consider themselves pretty good swimmers. But are we really?
Australians overestimate their swimming ability constantly. We see that really tragically through the summer period where just so many Australians get themselves into trouble, whether that's swimming at the beach or swimming in a local river or lake.
91 people have drowned in Australian waters this summer alone. That's 11 more than the same time in 2024, and almost 20 more than the 5-year average. Between 2023 and 2024, 323 people drowned, and that's 16% up on the 10-year average.
Yeah, we believe the increase in teenage drowning is related to a fall in swimming ability of children. Unfortunately, the pandemic had a really tragic consequence of shutting down pools and learn-to-swim centres. So the children during the pandemic that were perhaps 8, 9 and 10, they missed out on lessons, and as teenagers they don't want to go back. It's very difficult for them to justify going back to learn to swim, and those children are the ones that now are teenagers and we're really worried about.
Royal Lifesaving Australia has set national benchmarks for swimming competency, essentially swimming standards that most Australians should be able to reach by a particular age. In a 2024 study from Royal Lifesaving Australia, they found that 40% of kids leaving primary school didn't reach the national benchmarks for 12-year-olds, which includes swimming 50 metres continuously and treading water or floating for 2 minutes.
The lowest rates of drowning actually are children aged 10, lower than any other age group, but it increases tenfold by the time someone turns 20. So there's a rapid escalation of drowning risk, and there's not much that happens in the secondary school system to help them learn to swim. It's a time when they should be out doing outdoor education and kayaking and exploring, wonderful environments, but if they lack the swimming skills, often they miss out on those great experiences.
I did swimming lessons when I was about 4 to 5, and then I quit after that.
I started swimming lessons at like the mandatory ones that we did through year 1 to year 5, and then maybe a couple years after that I think I did some extra.
I believe I did swimming lessons from around before primary school to around 9, 10, around that.
I feel like if I was in trouble, I wouldn't be able to swim myself out, especially because I think I would be very freaked out by the situation.
I think people sometimes overestimate how much they can do. It's often very easy to underestimate how, quick it is to actually fatigue in especially a deep environment and where there's not easy access to a wall or something you can grab onto like a lane rope.
Jake works as a lifeguard in South Australia and knows a thing or two about being in the water.
It takes confidence and it takes knowing what you're doing and it takes practice. You never know when you're going to be in a situation where you might need to use those skills that you've developed. When you get into an environment where you won't be able to touch the bottom, that's when you're going to get tested.
Between 2023 and 2024, 83% of drownings in Australia were men.
We're urging men, particularly young boys, to really have a close look at the water before they enter, understand their swimming ability, look out for their friends. Everyone's got a friend that can't quite swim as well as they can, and really look after those friends.
Justin says that drownings also disproportionately affect migrant communities.
Many of those families come from backgrounds where there is no culture of water safety. In many cases, families avoid the water But when they arrive in Australia, they understand the wonderful climate, the wonderful culture, and they really do want to be part of enjoying those waterways, but perhaps they lack swimming skills. So it's really important that all Australians, irrespective of their background, have the skills to enjoy our wonderful waterways.
Both Justin and Jake agree that a big part of fixing the problem comes from getting kids back in the water from a young age.
If you swim from a young age and you build that confidence from a young age and develop those skills right away, that's where you get that confidence going into your teenage years.
It's up to parents to perhaps really understand that if their children don't swim when they're at age 10, 11 or 12, it puts them at significant risk of drowning, and so taking them to the local pool for lessons is a great idea. The safest place to build your confidence if you're not quite a strong swimmer or you don't want to take lessons is in fact the local swimming pool. It's really a safe place. The lifeguards are there to look after you. The water is generally shallow, you can see the bottom. It's a really good, great place to brush up on your swimming skills.